Good morning. Today, I'm going to share my analysis for next week, on my 8 favorite financial exchanges, on weekly and daily charts. Both the trend and the directionality are bullish. During the week, the price started to rise again, but making an unconvinced movement. On the daily chart, we can see how much the bullish movement has advanced, which seems to have lost strength. The candles are on average small, and among the last the largest, is the bearish one. The MACD oscillator narrowly avoided forming a divergence with the price, generating also a high. During the next week, I will evaluate any bullish signals. An interesting pattern could be the price bounce on the EMA 20, followed by a nice bullish candle. Since the price is at a fairly advanced stage and is very close to the maximum for the period, I recommend operating with caution. The trend is bullish, while the direction is uncertain. During the week, the price attempted to start up again, but retracting completely and forming another bearish candle. The directionality is uncertain, since the price has a good chance to raise again, but there's also a good chance of continuing the retracement phase. The daily chart shows a notable bearish divergence on the MACD oscillator. During the next week, I will evaluate any signs in both directions. An interesting bullish pattern could be a candle able to break the daily level. An interesting bearish pattern could be the price bounce on the EMA 20, followed by a nice bearish candle. I remember that when the direction is uncertain, it is necessary to operate with greater prudence. The trend is bullish, while the directionality is bearish. During the week, the price has undergone a significant decline, exceeding the median weekly level and exceeding the low of the last candles. On the daily chart, we can see that the price is heading towards the EMA 200, which is an important target. During the next week, I will evaluate any bearish signals. An interesting pattern could be the price bounce on the EMA 100, or the EMA 20, followed by a nice bearish candle. Trend and the directionality are bullish. During the week, the price underwent a small decline, continuing the retracement phase that began last week. The candle still stopped at the lows of the last bullish candle. On the daily chart, we can see that the price seems to be intent on reaching the EMA 100, which however is still quite far. There are no clear signs of a reversal of directionality, which remains bullish for the moment. During the next week, I will evaluate any bullish signs. An interesting pattern could be the price bounce off the daily level, followed by a nice bullish candle. I advise to operate with caution. The price may want to retrace a little more to reach the daily EMA 100, before trying to raise again. The trend is bullish, while the direction is uncertain. During the week, the price continued to retrace, making an interesting uncertain movement. On the daily chart, you can see that the EMA 100 is quite close, so it is likely that the retracement phase is not over yet. The large bearish divergence on the MACD oscillator is also visible on the daily chart, which appears to have influenced the price. Despite these observations, it is still early to report a change of direction, which I define uncertain. During the next week, I will evaluate any signs in both directions. An interesting bullish pattern could be a candle capable of breaking out of the previous week's high. An interesting bearish pattern could be the price bounce on the EMA 20, followed by a nice bearish candle. When the direction is uncertain, I recommend operating with particular caution, choosing only clear signals. The trend is bearish, while the direction is uncertain. During the week, the price started to fall again, but not in a convinced way. The final candle is a classic indecision pattern, where the price first makes a fairly decisive directional movement, then makes a short uncertain retracement, and then resumes moving in a directional way. If this idea were confirmed, we could see a change of directionality, but for the moment it is only an idea, and so, the directionality is uncertain. On the daily chart we can see the notable double bullish divergence present on the MACD oscillator. During the next week, I will evaluate any signs in both directions. An interesting bullish pattern could be a candle capable of breaking out of the previous week's high. An interesting bearish pattern could be a candle capable of breaking out of the previous week's low. As always, in case of uncertain directionality, it is necessary to operate with particular caution. The trend is bearish, the directionality is bullish. During the week, the price has made a truly remarkable bullish movement, easily exceeding the median weekly level and firmly confirming the change in directionality. Now, the price is very close to the weekly EMA 100, which is an important target. On the daily chart, you can see how fast the bullish movement was, which passed the EMA 200 without slowing down. As the movement of the last 2 weeks has been particularly intense, I will wait for a short retracement before evaluating any bullish signals. A possible target for the retracement could be the daily EMA 200, on which the price could bounce and then start to rise again. The trend is bearish, the directionality is bullish. The price has made another bullish move, the third in a row. Although the movement is not particularly large, the price has exceeded the highs of the last 2 months, confirming the probable change of direction, or at least, that the downward phase is very weak. On the daily chart, we can see that the price is very close to the EMA 100, which is the first useful target for the retracement. During the next week, I will evaluate any bullish signs. An interesting pattern could be the price bounce on the daily EMA 20, followed by a nice bullish candle. The daily EMA 100 represents the first price target, while the EMA 200 represents the second target in case the movement decides to continue higher. Thank you, and see the next week.